Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. In this video, you will be seeing me cutting out some stickers and reading some more R/Karen stories. So let's go ahead and get into it. This one is pretty interesting. I've got a good lineup for y'all. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. A little bit about my backstory. The year before, I suffered a TBI, a traumatic brain injury, and had damage caused to the cerebellum while working as an emergency worker. It has caused multiple neurological problems, and life has been difficult since then, making everyday activities a chore. Well, I decided to go home to a different part of the country for a few days, as I haven't seen any of my family since the injury. Well, the first day was okay, nothing to write about, but the second day was something I definitely remember. I woke up and went into the kitchen, but I was having a bad morning with my head. My ears were buzzing with white noise, I was feeling lightheaded and sick to the stomach, and I have had an intolerance to light since my head injury. I was sitting at the kitchen table and my Karen's stepmother starts talking that I need to get used to it, and I also have buzzing in my ears. She suffers from tinnitus and goes on about it every day since I've known her. I said in reply, I don't just suffer from just tinnitus. I have many other problems that causes me issues. KS replied, you just need to get over it and just go out and pretend it doesn't exist. While saying this in a condescending tone, like she was belittling a child and I was just acting up. By the way, I'm in my 30s. She also said that I have to man up and my problem wasn't that bad. But please keep in mind, she has very little information on my actual injury, which has been compared by my consultants to being hit by a bomb blast. She carried on trying to belittle me and then started to bring in her own two grown-up sons who were 10 years older than me and how they got their lives together and that they exercise every day. I thought to myself, how can you compare us, as her two sons only have worked in offices for insurance companies and I worked frontline emergency services dealing with dangerous people every day. I couldn't see how she could compare us. Well, I left the kitchen and went back to the room. I was staying in to rest my head and felt like a dead weight and I felt sick. And also to get away from her self-righteous, belittling behavior. A few hours later, I feel a bit bitter, and my father asked if I wanted to go on a walk to a large park, which was about 20 minutes drive from the house. So on the way in the car, I was sitting in the back, and KS and my father was in the front during this journey. KS carried on about how I need to get over my injury, and she suffers from tinnitus, and how she bravely carries on every single day with her illness. And how her sons are so successful, and why can't I be successful like them? I sat there listening, not saying anything, but getting very angry inside. I didn't react, but also thinking why my father, who was sitting right next to her, said nothing to her to shut her up, and was happy to allow for her to talk about me like shit. Well, by the time we got to the park, she had run out of things to say. Or so I thought. On the walk around the large lake, I was walking slow and both of them were outpacing me because of my brain injury. Walking around fast was impossible. KS noticed and told me I have to walk fast as it was good for you to have a speed walk. And started doing one of these little weird fast walks where you wiggle your butt like an overexcited puppy waggling its tail. KS says again, me and my son walk like this together a lot, and it's so healthy for you. We walk 10,000 steps a day. I did reply to this. I said, at work on a shift, I would walk an average of 3,000 30,000 to 40,000 steps a day while on duty, and not including running to attend emergency. She scoffed at this. So what? I just say I do more than you do in nearly a week in one day. KS, stop going on about your work. She completely dismissed me and mutters to herself. This was it for me. I lost my temper. I got in front of her, stared straight into her eyes, and told her in a loud voice not to shout in an enforcing tone. OP, you don't get to talk down or dismiss what I have done and my job. How do you think you are acting like my job was nothing? I had to attend emergencies and multiple occasions even saved a life. My father finally says something, but in the defense of his wife. Why would you rush to an emergency and run to them? I look at them with disbelief. One, for what he said, and two, not only is speaking up in defense of his witch of a wife, and saying nothing when she started on me for no reason. Well, I ended up leaving the park in a very bad mood, and those two acted like nothing had happened. I had already decided to myself that I would head back to my house as soon as I got back to their home. On the way back, we had to make a stop, and I was still fuming and waiting to just go back home. My witch of a stepmother had to get out of the car, so I took this chance to speak to my father alone. OP, why does KS speak to me like this? I don't know, but I hate it. So why didn't you say anything? I'm tired of her comparing me to her sons. I don't want to speak about it as this upsets me. And can you pretend that nothing is wrong with you as this upsets me too? When you are back home, do what you want, but you can pretend when you see me that there is nothing wrong, as this irritates me. I was done. I couldn't believe the selfish and uncaring comments coming from his mouth. He was only worried about how it made him feel and didn't care what happened to me or how it affected me or how it changed my life. I told him I was going back to the train station when we get back, and he didn't say anything. Back at the house, I went straight to the room, got my stuff, and started to pack. And I was about to walk out of the house when my stepmother enters the room. You're upsetting your father by doing this. Why are you leaving? You know full well why I am going. And why do you keep comparing me to your two sons? We are nothing alike, and I don't like it, so stop it. I can do what I want. They are my children, and I speak about them all the time if I want to. But why keep comparing them to me? I don't want to hear about your perfect little children. Well, my sons are 10 times better than you, and I will always be 10 times better than you ever. This was said with such a large smile and deep pleasure in the eyes, like she was getting off on what she said to me. I looked her right in the eyes and spoke. Your sons are cowards and spoiled little brats, and only use you because you're such a sad case, and they know you'd do anything for them. I didn't say this for payback. I have seen examples of this over the years since she was married to my father, and some other things which I won't say on here, but I proved my point. She couldn't stand this and started to raise her voice at me. My father came in, but instead of telling her to stop it and calm down, he came in and just said this, "You're upsetting me." So I was done hearing him say that. But not to her, only directed at me. And so I just walked out of the house with my stuff. But when I'm leaving the house, I hear my dad turn around and he's doing the sign of slitting your throat and saying I'm disowned. So for that, I have been disowned now, just for standing up for myself and now not allowing a bitch of a stepmother to bully me and dismiss my injuries and experiences and come to the conclusion that my father is a self-centered, emotionally immature coward. Sorry for the long post and thank you for reading. That's terrible. What the hell? How can you not stand up for your child? Like this woman that you're living with, yeah, sure, you may love her, but like not standing up for your own child? That makes no sense to me. Like, this is your kid, and like this woman just came into your life with her 2 children. I'm sure you've probably, seen this behavior before. So like, why is he not standing up for his child? I don't like, as a mother, like this irritates the heck out of me. All right. Well, moving on to the next story, I guess. Karen hates dogs having fun. I had my first Karen encounter in the wild, albeit this anonymous Karen didn't even have the guts to come up to me, but maybe that's just in the species. Anyway, here's the story. I have a cute little rooftop at the top of my apartment building, and sometimes during the day, especially when it's cold, I live in the NE, USA. I bring my 10-month-old pup to run around safely. The nearest dog park is 20 minutes of a walk, and I live next to a train. And I get constantly paranoid that my pup will see a squirrel and run across. I go up maybe 3-4 times a week and make sure my dog is on a leash until I'm sure no one else is up there, for safety reasons. And if someone comes, I grab her and go back down. This is just a safe place, and I figured for her to run around where it's also safe enough of a distance from my place in case something happens. I always clean up after her if she poops, and there's no rule against bringing her up there. Anyways, I went up yesterday with her so she can get some energy out, and I had to make a few calls for work. We were up there for maybe 10 minutes, and mind you, my pup doesn't bark when she's running around alone. And I don't yell into my phone or put it on speaker. Yet, I got a call from the front desk of my building saying that my pup was making too much noise and that we had to leave. The guy at the front desk said that it wasn't him, but that he's been getting complaints of the noise. And I just said, okay, and went back down with my pup, and she just sulked around, unsure of why the fun had to end. I hope Karen's happy. The crazy thing is, I wondered for a few hours after that if I was in the wrong for bringing her up there in the first place. Am I the real Karen? The Karen Jedi mind trick did me dirty for a good few hours. Edit. I saw a comment that may have gotten deleted. The only law is that the pet has to be registered within the city, which she is. No strict leash laws. And also, here's the pup tax. And we have a picture of the puppy right here. Oh, it's so cute. It's so cute. Look at that little sweet face. No. Anyway, that sucks. It's unfortunate that your dog has to have their fun ruined that way. But if you're not breaking any rules, I don't see the problem. I say just keep taking your dog up there, like, in my opinion. Like, just keep taking him up there because he is not doing anything wrong, and you always clean up after him. So there's no real problem with him being up there. Anyway, next story. Karen tried to get a new car. Today was a beautiful Texas day. Sun was shining, cool breeze, and I was on my way to the D of Pizza for lunch. As I get out of my car, I look behind me in time to see a white Jeep pull out in front of a red Mustang, get into the inside lane, and then hastily pull right in front of the Mustang. The Mustang slams his brakes on, hits his horn, and smoosh. I walk idly into the pizza store to pick my order up, giggling because I know that this white car is about to get hell. I get my za and some ranches and head back outside to my car, watching as both cars pull into the parking lot. I hear this awful screeching, and it sounds like a pterodactyl is honing in on a kill. I start my car and back up slowly and then head in the direction of the screeching. Windows down, of course. I hear, "Why were you speeding? You hit me, you terrible man! I'm calling the police!" I see both people furiously typing on their phones, and I yell, "Hey, are you okay? I saw this woman pull in front of you. Just wanted to make sure you weren't hurt." The look on the woman's face was priceless. The shock on her face as she realized there was a witness, and the guy just stops. He says, "Wait, you saw this?" "Yes, sir. I'd be glad to stay as a witness if you'd like to call the police." I think he almost cried. Karen, meanwhile, is screeching about me being there as I parked a couple spots down. She is so mad she got caught in her shenanigans and is trying everything to get out of it. "You saw him speeding. Oh, my back. My son's a lawyer. Why do you need my insurance? You hit me. I don't have my card." An hour later, the police show up and she starts screeching again. The police officer heads to the man, and the man gives him his license and insurance and points to me. "That person is his friend. This is a scam. Oh, my heart. It can't take this." The cop asks for my statement, which I gladly give, as well as my license and phone number. He thanks me, and I make sure that the man has my number and head out. I can't wait for the insurance adjuster to call. I really like that one. Good on you for sticking around. Most people just leave in those scenarios. But I'm super happy that, and I'm sure that the face that Karen made was just utterly priceless. She knew she messed up when she pulled out in front of a frickin' red Mustang and, kind of caused an accident. So having two people to kind of confirm that story probably really helped that guy out, as he probably would have had to fork over a lot of money. So yeah, that was a good one. Nice job, OP. Nice job. On to the next one. Karen, that's not how it works. Yes, they are overwhelmed, but where else should they go if they're in cardiac arrest, have trauma, or suffering from some other emergency? Also, the people saving lives aren't the ones making the commercials. There's this person. I don't understand why hospitals, which are apparently overwhelmed, are running commercials on TV. It doesn't make sense. Well, yeah, that's because they still need people to come into the hospital if they're having an emergency. Just because they're overwhelmed doesn't mean that they don't have an emergency that can be helped at an emergency facility. All right, Karen. All right. Karen demands I leave a parking lot that she doesn't own. Little backstory before we start. So a while back, I moved into a neighborhood that's beside the National Highway, and there used to be a very old style building. I think it was either a hotel or a decommissioned hospital, but the big dealership in the area bought it and started tearing it down. Fast forward for a while now, and it's either half an unpainted parking lot or a fully unpainted parking lot. I can't remember. So I left my house and got my friend who lives above the parking lot, and we walk through the parking lot to go play basketball. We were about in the middle of the parking lot. It's a large parking lot, and a gray car goes by. Nothing out of the ordinary, but then the car loops back around, going down the road beside the parking lot. But this time they're going slow, and their window is down. There were two girls, the Karen that was about in her 50s, and the passenger who was about in her 20s. But she isn't important. Then the Karen yells, "Y'all need to get out of that parking lot before I call the cops." Remember, the parking lot isn't done yet, and there isn't no trespassing signs or any of the cars yet. So it's just a plot of asphalt. So me and my friend don't say anything and just walk out, because by the time she looked back and yelled, we were basically already out of it. Anyways, we walked to our hoop, and the cops never came, and we never saw her again. TLDR, an entitled Karen screams at me and my friend for just walking through a not yet used parking lot. Why is it that, Karens do that? They, yell about the stupidest things. Like, I've seen so many Karen videos and stuff, and they just yell for no reason. Like, I don't understand. Anyway, we're done. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate you taking the time to listen to me ramble about Karens. There were a lot of really good ones in this one today. I thought they were funny. We probably will do r/entitled people next time. So keep an eye out for that one. And if you really like this video, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I do art, and I'm going to start reading these kinds of stories in the background of my videos. So I play some bomb music too. So have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!
I got nothing to hide.